So we came up with a student survey. We didn't want the kids to do a rating. We didn't think that that was going to give us enough information. So we came up with questions, a couple that it's going to be yes or no, because we want to know what do they think about. We talked about how sometimes you'll get a highly capable kid who will say, no, I'm not smart. And so that really gives you a lot of information. Sometimes you'll get a kid who's lower function and say, yeah, I am. And so we can use that confidence and build on that. So we wanted to know about math, reading, spelling, words, and writing. So when I'm at school, I like. Left that wide open to find out. When I'm at school, I don't like. At home, when I'm at home, I don't like. And things they're afraid of. Things they're afraid of at home. Things they're afraid of at school. What do they like to do when they're sad? Do they want to be alone? Do they want a stuffed animal? And things that make me happy.
We also said we want them to draw and label a picture of their family, just to kind of see, like, who do they draw the biggest, who do they draw together, who do they leave out altogether, what looks do they have on their faces, and that also will give us an idea too of some of their fine motor skills.
And the parent survey is reflective of the other one that we made, but now we can get the parents' perspective.
I think that last question, it's like an IEP question that when you ask that in an
Oh,
IEP,
they cricket.
they're always like, yeah.
So talk to me a little bit. So I love this idea of the double perspective. So you're really looking holistically at the child, and I think that's hugely important. And I love the thinking behind the thinking for your, in particular, the family questions. So when you are asking questions for clarification, do you think you're smart at adding? Do you think you're smart at reading? I immediately go into, oh my God, we're asking kids they're smart, and that's fixed mindset. What do you go? What is your? Tell me what the thinking behind the thinking is of those questions. What would is that yes or no? Are you trying to determine if they like that, if they're strong at that? Because I
see what their confidence level is. What else
and their self-perception too.
Okay.
Because you can have some kids who are really high achieving in an area and they have absolutely no confidence. And they'll say like, no, I can't do it. And that kind of shows you they have some fears.
Okay.
And they're not ready to necessarily take some risks in your class, and you need to really build up that confidence so that they'll take those risks and kind of move them away from that fixed mindset and open them up to some new things.
Michelle was sharing a story. She had a really good speller, but his biggest thing was he always felt that he was yours, so you could share the story.
Yeah, so he's a very talented speller, and on the DSA he scored like one of the highest in the class, and he would tell everyone that he was a terrible speller. And so it was just very interesting to see his mindset in that area, that he just didn't think that he could do it. But
because we said he's a very high reader. He knows when he looks at his writing, some of those words aren't right.
not right. Yeah.
And so, but I like to know that. We like to know that about our kids, because that sometimes puts up that block.
And I think
And
we
then
were
they don't want to be
strategic
risk
in our
takers.
Yeah. We were strategic in our wording and saying, do you think you are? We're not saying, are you? We're saying, do you think that you are?
Because you're really trying to get inside their heads.
Yeah.
And then from that, Emma, you can take their perception and it can open up a conversation about why not, blah, 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 and then kind of create like an action plan of build confidence.
Or what has made you think that?
You know what you might want them to do? Thinking about that, because that word smart kind of bothers me too, but could you ask them, what does it look like when someone is smart in math? What do you think it looks like?
Yeah.
Are you, at some point, and maybe based on this, but at some point asking them, what do you think it looks like when someone's smart at adding strength or smart at reading books? Because then you'll really get to know more of what they're thinking, to me, than saying, are you smart at it? Because one child's concept of what smart means can be very different than another child's, because, he can add and subtract, he doesn't look at paper, or he doesn't have to use his fingers, or he can, whatever it might be. At some point, I think you need to go to that step about
Next
It's
step.
all about the evidence for you guys, right? Because if I don't think I'm good at it, and then here I have evidence that shows in fact, and good isn't the right word either, competent or can demonstrate mastery, then it becomes that kind of enlightenment where like your self-perception is really screwed up.
Exactly, and that's what we thought
Yeah.
we
Yeah,
thought
yeah.
we could just kind
Yeah.
of bubble that up and
Yeah.
out, because eventually as teachers of these kids, we know that it takes us about 4 months to figure it out. But if we can start to get a bit of an idea earlier, then
Yeah.
that's all better.
I think about, like, because I have a child going into first grade. If you were to ask Kaylee if she's smart at reading books, she would tell you no. Even though she's a level
But see, that's
F
what we
on level, she would say no because she can't read chapter books yet. To her, smart is reading chapter books. And for
Right.
you to know that early, I love that
Yeah.
idea.
And the other thing we talked about was giving this more as an interview
Yeah, I
between
can see
us
that.
and the
Yes,
student,
yes,
rather than having
Yeah,
them
totally.
take it back to their seats and write their answers.
Right.
We want to do a one-on-one interview, and I think it says a lot too to see, like,
Yeah.
do you think you're smart at something? And they go,
Yeah.
like right away before you're done
Yes.
asking the question, you know, and then we'll have the opportunity to kind of make some of those
Yeah.
comments too. And
I think that's a caveat. So when we go back to building that out, putting a little more on it, put that in your kind of rationale for anything, because I think that's critical, that this is an interactive conversation that's gonna lead us to some really interesting things that kids think they know about